Shanna woke up in her big bed and stretched lazily as she got up and started her day. She slid into her dress, brushed her long blonde hair, and hurried down to the kitchen. It was a cool morning, so she sat by the big hearth and ate her breakfast. Afterwards, she left the castle and started another day of exploring. Today, she would explore deep within the enchanted forest. It was full of magic and wonder. The animals who lived in the forest were magical too. There were unicorns with glittering manes, deer with antlers made of crystal. A beautiful Pegasus ruled the kingdom. There were tiger wolves, skunk foxes, rabbit turtles, and fondillos, lizards with butterfly wings. It was a beautiful menagerie of color and magic, more than Shanna could have ever dreamed. Shanna spent most of her time here exploring, meeting new friends, and learning about the magic that surrounded her. She loved everything about it. The way the sun found its way through all the branches and leaves, to the forest floor where it danced like diamonds over the moss and the undergrowth. This forest was unlike any other, for it was full of magical secrets that had been passed down through the ages. As she walked deeper into the forest, she felt her worries and cares slowly slip away. The peacefulness of the forest was so comforting, and she realized how special this place was. All of a sudden, she heard someone, just out of sight, say, "Would you mind helping me? Would you mind helping me get this thorn out of my wing?" There in the bushes was a beautiful fairy with bright red hair wrapped in a thorny vine. Shanna made her way through the undergrowth and untangled the fairy. She was so grateful and reached out her hand to Shanna. "Hi, I'm Blaze." "I'm Shanna. So nice to meet you." The two became fast friends, and Blaze was more than happy to teach Shanna all about the forest and all the things, including its secrets. As they explored, Blaze introduced her to all the creatures of the forest. The two sat on a big flat stone, surrounded by all the animals, and told stories. Shanna told them all about her life at the castle, and Blaze told about the life in the forest. Of course, the animals had plenty to share also. They told her the secrets of the forest, and how the forest had the power to heal the body and soul. She learned of their fear of dark spirits lurking in the shadows, and how they hoped that one day Shanna would be able to free them from the darkness. Blaze told her about the Tree of Dreams and the magic that was intertwined in its branches. Shanna asked them to take her to the tree. At the center of the forest there was a clearing where a giant tree stood. It was a magnificent tree. It was so tall that its branches seemed to reach the clouds. This was the Tree of Dreams, and it was said to hold the power to grant the deepest desires of those who came under its branches. Shanna gazed up at the tree in wonder. marveling at the way its branches seemed to stretch out to the stars. She touched the bark of the tree and whispered, "I wish with all my heart that I could always protect this beautiful forest and all the animals that made it their home." They continued their exploration into the depths of the forest when she stumbled upon a small, glimmering crystal lying in a bed of moss. As she picked it up, she felt a jolt of energy shoot through her body. She knew immediately that this was no ordinary crystal. Shanna held the crystal up to the light, marveling at the way it refracted the colors of the forest. Suddenly she heard a voice in her head, urging her to take the crystal to the highest tower of the castle. Blaze told Shanna to be very careful, because with this crystal came a great responsibility, and that her life would never be the same. Without hesitation, Shanna set off on the long journey back home. Blaze walked as far as the edge of the forest and took Shanna by the hand. "Please be careful with the crystal. It is so powerful, and it holds all the secrets and powers of the forest. It can never fall into the wrong hands, or we will be lost forever." Shanna promised Blaze that she would guard it with her life, and that she would find a very, very special place for it. As she climbed the stairs to the tower, the crystal grew warmer and brighter in her hand. When she finally reached the top, she held the crystal up to the sky and felt its energy surge through her body. Suddenly, the castle walls began to shake, and Shanna realized that the crystal had unlocked a hidden power within the castle. She watched in amazement as the walls of the castle began to shift and transform, revealing an old hidden library filled with ancient books and scrolls and antique magical artifacts. Shanna knew this was a special room that she was determined to learn from the books and artifacts. She vowed to use the power of the crystal for good of the forest and all the creatures and the people who lived there. She spent countless hours of studying the ancient texts and exploring the artifacts, uncovering the new spells and incantations that could heal the sick and protect the innocent, and even summon powerful elements and forces. The days turned into weeks, the weeks into years, as Shanna learned more and more about the life of the forest and how it related to the castle she called home. It took years to learn how to battle the darkness, but one day she discovered the secret of defeating it. She took the crystal back to the forest. She gathered Blaze and all the creatures of the forest and gathered around the Tree of Dreams. Shanna walked up to the tree, placed her hand on the tree, and chanted, "O Tree of Dreams, majestic and true, I return this crystal to you." The tree opened and she entered. A gasp escaped the crowd as the tree closed around Shanna. When it opened again, Shanna came out. Her eyes, once blue, were now bright green, and she was dressed in a beautiful green gown with a crown of ivy and flowers. She walked into a clearing and said, "I have been given a great burden and blessing. I am a guardian of the forest, the mother of nature, and it is my duty to protect you and heal you and advise you until the end of my days. I accept this with full heart. I pray that you will always be safe and happy." As the crowd began to applaud, a great cloud arose from the forest floor and screeched as it rose to the top of the forest. into the clouds, and it disappeared forever. The darkness was lifted, and the forest was light again. Shanna knew that the crystal castle in the forest would always be her home. She would protect them with all her strength and would continue to explore their mysteries for as long as she lived. In the end, Shanna realized the greatest gift of all was simply the forest itself. The magic and the wonder she found there had transformed her, and she knew that she would always be the protector of this wondrous place she called home.